It's fine.
Welcome to MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe, and I never thought I would say this, but I'm thankful for McLaren.
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and I don't know, man, I'm just really thankful for all those planks of wood out there doing their best.
Shout out to the planks of wood. Wow. I'm just like waking up this morning felt
How did it feel? How did it feel?
It felt like when it hasn't snowed yet, but they're saying there could be a chance of snow tomorrow. And it feels like when you wake up in the morning and there's a fresh blanket of snow covering everything and you know you have a snow day.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch on it, but my experience was a little different.
What was your experience?
I was awake the whole time.
Oh, yeah, you were. You were up until 3 a.m. your time.
Longer.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We gotta talk about some MotoGP first to satisfy the premise of the podcast.
We do. First things first, my Bible.
Wow.
My Bible.
Wow.
And I did finish. I was talking about it last week on the podcast. I did finish it this evening on my flight home for Thanksgiving. We have the front, very lovely, very Ducati. And then on the back, we have a little baby.
He was so cute. Look at his little bunny teeth.
Look at his teeth. Marc the Merciless Gritting Assassin. And he is probably 17 here.
He and Sebastian Vettel, I feel like, were cut from the same cloth.
So what's really interesting is Mat Oxley, the guy who wrote this, our peer and good friend. Our peer and close friend, Mat Oxley. He's been doing this for years, but he has this very beloved metaphor with Marc that he really loves to connect Marc to Senna.
Okay.
Very much so. And I think there's elements of truth to this. I think, anytime you talk about a person, it's hard, it doesn't ring true to just connect them to another person and say they're the same.
No person's a one-to-one.
Matt does kind of make the argument that Marc and Senna are incredibly similar in a lot of ways. And I think there's an element of the viciousness of racing that he totally gets true. But it's just interesting, reading this book about Marc, and Matt is still very present in the whole thing. But I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. I think he does a great job of not blow by blow tracking the course of a season. It's really about telling this overarching story of who Marc is. It's interesting because he starts the whole book. I don't know if I want to spoil this, but he starts the whole book basically asking the question, is Marc Marquez the greatest motorcycle racer of all time? Which is a very contentious question, as you might expect. He then spends about 230 pages answering this question. And he kind of narrows it down to 4 key aspects: talent, intellect, bravery, and determination. These are the 4 things he talks about with Marc over the course of his whole career.
Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, talent.
Yeah. Cunt. But it's just interesting because he starts the book kind of being is he the GOAT? I don't know.
And then ends it by saying, yeah, I was lying, I know.
Exactly. I think my favorite part of the whole book is towards the end. There's an interview that Matt does with Marc kind of at the end of 2025. And Marc says, I feel at peace with myself. These last years I was fighting against many things, but the most difficult thing was fighting against Marc.
Whoa.
It was Marc against Marc. One Marc said one way, the other Marc said the other way. One Marc said stop, one Marc said continue. In the end, I tried to follow my instincts to never give up.
Is he on his deathbed?
No, I just think it's a very interesting look into who he is and
It's so perceptive, though. It's the kind of perception that you only get when you're dying and looking back on your life and reflecting on it.
That's kind of what happened to Marc. I'm not saying he died, but
he experienced ego death.
Yeah, he was staring down, if not experiencing ego death for the last 4 years. 4 years over a course of time. Obviously, intellect is one of the things that Matt is really focused in on. And that's one of the things that a lot of the book is focused on, too. Just how smart Marc is and how he's come competition have been like, yeah, this dude's really fucking smart. Oh my God. And then the craziest part, there's some crazy fucking Marc, just like banger ego quotes. A Honda team boss basically early in Marc's career was like, you need to be nice to Danny.
Pedrosa?
Yeah. I know you're beating him, but you can't fight him like that.
Wow. Really, truly Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber.
So he goes, I spoke with Danny and also with Marc. I said, try to be nice with Danny. I know you didn't do it deliberately, but anyway. He continues, he was just a kid. I remember it like it was yesterday. He looked at me and said, do you realize that if you want to win the title, you have to count on me?
Wow. Wow. Holy
and
shit.
I think that was his rookie season.
Oh my God.
And Suvo continues, that's the shark talking. You know, okay, I made a mistake. But if you want to win the title, it's me.
Wow.
Crazy. Okay, so they talk about the ranch. This is like a big thing. It happens in 2014. This is a VR46
ranch. Yeah.
Yeah. And the like prevailing theory, mostly circulated by Marc, because Marc thinks this is where it all fell apart, is that it was meant to be a fun visit, fun track day. Marc shows up with like a quote unquote tricked out bike, and some of his engineers takes it too seriously, isn't fun, and like is dominant about it, and essentially takes like the track record and is like not fun, too serious about it, is the crux of the thing.
Against Valentino Rossi, for those who may not be as familiar with the incident.
Famously the non-competitive motorcycle racer.
So Valet invited Marc to his ranch for like a fun race day, like let's go out and just like goof around.
Right.
And Marc was like, Marc doesn't like goof around. So he brought backup and like went hard.
This is the myth that has largely been, I think, perpetuated by some. And then Marc talked about it more in his documentary series All In which he kind of was like, this happened. This is the thing that I think led to a lot of it falling apart. What's really interesting is that multiple different people basically push back on the narrative that like we as fans are familiar with. So Frankie Morbidelli is quoted by saying, you know, we have really hard fights here, more intense than in MotoGP because there's no race direction. Sometimes these fights were so hard, apparently, that they continued after leaving the dirt track and into just like the rest of the ranch.
Fisticuffs?
And this is coming from Rossi. Like Rossi in other interviews has been like, yeah, like I had to tell them to calm down.
Wrestling?
So there are a bunch of people there, some familiar names, Pecco Bagnaia, Nico Bulega, Luca Marini, Andrea Migno, a bunch of other names. Miguel Oliveira was there. And then Chad Reed. And Chad Reed is important to this story because Chad Reed, to this day, is still friends with Marc and still friends with Valentino.
Oh my God.
He's Australian motocross, supercross legend. Apparently, it's true that Marc broke the lap record. He and Valentino were reportedly passing it back and forth.
Okay.
So like that's neither here nor there. That's just what happens. Mm-hmm. The usual story is that Marc shows up with this like crazy tricked out bike. One of Marc's longtime engineers fully pushes back on this. He says the bike wasn't even Marc's. Before they went to Misano, because this happened after the Misano race weekend, they'd asked Honda for like a dirt bike that they could use for this weekend. Honda Italy asked Red Moto, who is like Italy's big Honda off-road dealer, to lend them a bike. Their staff brought the bike to Vuglia, which is where the ranch is. He'd been told to look after the bike, so he stood next to it all weekend. Some people might have thought he was a security guy. So that's where like some of the idea of like he came with this whole team. It was just a standard bike. They brought in a lot of like the clip-on plastic things, mud guards, side panels, whatever, from Marc's existing kit, fitted them to the bike when they got there. They also had their own suspension and special wheel rims for Marc that Valentino had gifted him.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he was like, look, we're coming to race with you. I'm going to bring the gift that you gave me.
Correct.
Whoa. Okay.
I thought that was really interesting that like it's not like breaking news.
But it's not as black and white as it once seemed.
Right. It's just this whole thing. Like Valentino broke the lap record, then Marc, they did time trials. Like everybody was apparently having fun according to, I think, Chad Reed. I also didn't know. This was news to me too. Apparently, during the Sepang 2015 kick situation, Honda had data that overwhelmingly suggested that Valentino had kicked Marc.
Interesting.
Right. So the data from Marc's bike shows that even though he was picking up the bike, trying to avoid contact at Sepang, his front brake lever suddenly received an impact that locked the front tire.
Sudden arboreal stop.
Right, exactly. Great West Wing reference.
Thank you.
Which was the reason for this crash. We believe the pressure was a result of Rossi's kick. And they were ready to drop this. They were ready to have a press conference sharing this information.
And
ultimately they canceled it last minute.
Why?
Because they were a little concerned about wading into this because Valentino had pretty much everything sewn up. Like the press was on his side. He was the darling of MotoGP and had been for almost a decade already. Fans were on his side. And Honda, the business entity, did not want to be on the wrong side of Valentino Rossi and his fans. Because Rossi, as like a face of Yamaha, if Honda pisses off Rossi's camp, he's going to tell them all to go to Yamaha. Like he's going to tell them all to buy at Yamaha.
Yeah.
So they got scared.
Wow.
So I think those are my favorite, like, big little pieces. There was also a Lorenzo quote that I thought was really funny. So Jorge Lorenzo, obviously a huge feature of Marc's career.
Now coaching Maverick Viñales.
Yeah, fucking crazy. Don't know what's going on there. Actually, you know what is going on there? I think it is. Weirdly, I think all of the aliens are like, okay, none of y'all are actually fighting him. Let me get back in there.
Okay, they're choosing their victor.
And honestly, I was like thinking about it and I was like, why is Jorge Lorenzo going for Maverick Viñales? And I'm like, Danny has Pedro. That's why.
In case he's got his hands on Pecco.
Mm-hmm. Also Bez, I think. It's a real like co-parenting situation over there with Valet, which is a bizarre thing to say about Casey Stoner.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's an long interview with Jorge Lorenzo that's like sprinkled through the book. So Lorenzo asked Matt about the book cover. And Matt told him about the back cover, Grinning Assassin. And Lorenzo goes, ha, ha, ha. Marc is very close to an assassin, but obviously without killing people. He then goes, almost.
Okay. He just says things.
No, like I love Jorge Lorenzo is so off-putting, like in a variety of ways.
Very off-putting. He's a strange, strange man.
Bizarre. Okay, if we're looking at the origins of Marc, this is maybe my favorite thing I've learned from this entire book. Like, I'm retconning what I just said. This is, I think, my favorite thing. So Marc and his whole family are Catalan. This is obviously a huge cultural touchstone for him and his community in Spain. In Spain, there is a football club, FC Barcelona. And back in the day, dictator General
Francisco Franco.
Right, what a name. Basically banned all use of Catalan to like squash down the culture. The only place they could speak Catalan at this point in time is in this football stadium for FC Barcelona. To this day, it is a very rich cultural touchstone of the Catalan community. In 1992, FC Barcelona was playing the European Cup final in Wembley in England. They won it in 1992. For the first time. Apparently, Catalans have never celebrated so hard.
Okay.
Before or since.
Okay.
The way Matt describes it is Marc's parents, Julia and Roser, ended that famous day in 1992 by celebrating, quote, in the best way. 40 weeks later, February 17th, 1993, Marc was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love knowing when people were conceived.
And the other crazy thing is that the like national pride with like of Catalan around this event led to a Catalan baby boom.
Oh my God.
Where the region's birth rate jumped by 16% for a hot second.
That's so fucking funny.
Isn't that crazy?
And they were all born in February. Wow. Do you think my brother, who was born on February 12th, 1993, was a part of the Catalan baby boom?
No.
Okay.
I think he just happened to be in there.
All right.
That's all I got.
He does like going to Barcelona.
Sorry to your brother.
Wow.
But yeah.
What a book.
I loved it. I think I probably will read it again over the off season just to like let it sink in again.
Maybe I'll get it and we can do book club.
Honestly, yeah. It's like $40, but I love it. And I think it's worth it.
You know what I just spent $40 on?
Taylor Swift merch?
No, the 15th anniversary edition of Cannibal and Animal signed vinyls from Kesha.
Honestly, money well worth it.
Yeah. I think so. With new songs.
Oh, so like immediate return on that investment.
Yeah, 6 new songs.
Exactly. Listen, I'll never tell you no.
We love spending money.
My favorite thing to do. Other than that, it's been like a quiet week with MotoGP. Obviously, the season is over.
We're all taking a break. We're all resting up, except Mark and Alex are parading through the streets of
Cervera, their hometown.
Their hometown. It was very much giving that picture of the Mexican Chihuahua that thought the Pope parade was for him.
Yeah. Except it was for him.
That was the case in the Mexican Chihuahua's case as well.
One last thing, actually. I can't remember what race it was this season, but it was a race that Casey Stoner and Valentino Rossi were at. And it was honestly like kind of made headlines because Casey and Valentino had such a contentious relationship multiple times over. And Matt talks about that event of like them hugging it out on the grid. And he's like, and Valentino didn't even know that a few hours before this, Casey and I sat down for a long interview for this book. And I'm like, okay, messy.
Matt is so messy.
Messy.
I love mess.
He also says in the like thanks and acknowledgement, long list of names, lovely thank yous. I approached the VR46 organization for an interview with Valentino, but received no reply.
Messy.
And then he does the same thing to Danny.
Slightly less messy.
But still funny.
But still very funny.
I asked KTM's MotoGP marketing/media department for an interview with Danny Pedrosa, but was told he was too busy.
Doing what?
Fucking making Pedro into a real boy.
Looking handsome.
That's what his job is. Yeah, looking sick as fuck.
Did you get a look of yourself doing that?
Yeah, I did. I sure did. And I stand by it.
All right. I think we'll take a look at like our season predictions next week because I don't know about you, but I'm itching to get to Vegas.
Let's get to Vegas.
Wow.
So we're now in
the Great Wide
for
World
listeners
of
of the pod. We got too excited.
We got too excited. And welcome to the Great Wide World of Motorsport, I guess. Can we just start by saying Doriane Pin, F1 Academy champion?
We do need to start there. You're so right.
Oh my God.
She's her.
She's her. And you know what? Maya Vug is her as well.
They're all her.
They're she.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They're them.
Her. There was so much I loved about this entire season with F1 Academy was just some phenomenal racing. Like last year, you knew you were in for something very exciting when it came with like Abby and Doriane. But this year, what I loved was that there was so much great talent from like unexpected names, like Leah Block and Chloe Chambers and, you know, Ella Lloyd and like Maya Vug. Like it was honestly some of the best racing we saw in the paddock this entire season. And I think that was especially true this weekend.
I feel like this season with F1 Academy just like ballooned open. Like
it really took off.
And we're losing so many of these drivers next year.
I know.
Like, that's
and it's
what's really
so sad.
A bummer.
It's such a bummer. They are introducing the 3rd year exception rule, but that only applies next year.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to see what keeps coming because...
Well, the thing I think that's so interesting about Doriane, and I think you could make this argument about like pretty much anyone else on the F1 Academy grid, is like Mercedes has fully invested in her.
Yes. She is part of the team.
For the series that she is in, they have fully invested in her. And that's what everyone needs to be doing. And she's worth the investment. Like,
100%.
That is a huge, huge part of like her story and like why this is working. Is because she is a talent that is worth that investment.
100%.
Unfortunately, not every driver is going to be that way.
No, but we're seeing it with Leah Block.
Here's my hot take about Leah Block. I don't think she should be in like Formula racing.
You think she should go to rallying?
She's so fucking good at it. I watched her episodes in the F1 Academy documentary, and I do really like her.
I also think that there's a lot more gender parity in rallying already.
Her first season in F1 Academy was the first time she got into like Formula type racing, like ever.
Yeah.
And she's not great at it.
I don't think she's the worst on the grid.
Yeah, but I don't think she likes it that way.
Oh, you think that she likes rallying more?
Yeah. Based on her episodes in the docuseries, obviously, that is like a whole other thing. I think she like wants to be good at it and like wants to work at it, but I don't think she loves it in the way that like you see with Abby Pulling or like Maya or Doriane. So I think she should just go and take the rallying world by storm.
Well,
that's
my schedule's cleared up. It was really great seeing Marta Garcia and Abby back to celebrate with Doriane. Maya, I'm like,
I feel so bad.
but like, what a fighter. She really fought this whole season. I think was kind of like a dark horse candidate. Like, I think everybody expected after last season, Doriane to really like run away with the season. And I mean, she was incredible. Like, this is my thing. What are your F2 drivers bringing to the table that Doriane could not bring, Maya could not bring? Why is the next step F3? I understand that this is functioning as an F4 series, but
I kind of agree.
the issue is, I know the issue is that they do not have power steering in the lower formulas. They only have it in F1, which is where we see women start to fall off, is that they don't have the upper body strength to handle the Gs without power steering. Put power steering
I know, easy.
in the lower formulas. Number
Easy answer.
one, if these formulas are supposed to be preparing people for Formula One, they should be in there regardless.
I completely agree. I think
Number
it's
two,
stupid.
I think it's safer. Whatever. I just think that if you put power steering in F3 and F2 cars, these girls would be taking the world by storm.
And it's like, I love Isaac. Love him. What is Doriane not bringing that he is?
I don't know.
I feel the same way about Ollie Behrman. None of this is a dig at any of them.
And the thing is, too, is that I think what's so interesting and why I think it's such a miss not to invest in these talents further is that F1 Academy was a step back for Doriane. And it was a step back for Abby in a way that they had already been very successful in IMSA, ELMS, like driving with Iron Dames, this and that. Like, their racing knowledge is incredible.
Yeah, like they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They're just learning the technical fundamentals.
I also think after 2 years with F1 Academy, like
You can skip F3.
but even outside of the racing piece, which I understand that this is less important when it comes to racers, but when you lead an F1 Academy season, there's a level of like media know-how and political understanding.
They are ambassadors for their sports.
That I don't think you get in F2 or F3. The way Formula One and like the Formula Series have been currently like structured, I don't think is adequately taking advantage of these resources.
No. I just think that, like, I'll see in the comments, like, wow, I hope there's like a women's division within Formula One. Why?
And this is what happened with Sky TV recently too. Like, why are we trying to like split this up again?
With power steering, there is no meaningful gender disparity.
I completely agree. You know who else agrees? Max Verstappen.
Woke king. So it was really great seeing Doriane. She's so cute. She's so happy. I was so happy to see literally all of Mercedes there celebrating her. I did almost cry looking at Susie hug her because it was like, wow, they look quite a bit alike. And so it was like seeing...
It felt very full circle for her.
It felt very full circle. And this by far was the most successful F1 Academy season in terms of viewership, growth,
like reach.
Sponsors.
They had some huge name sponsors.
Hello Kitty? The Hello Kitty activation. I've never loved something. Having truly this weekend, fuck McLaren, fuck Max, fuck all of that. Having Hello Kitty wave the checkered flag
was really fun.
That was, wow, I'm speechless. It was like being graced by God. So, what a weekend.
Can I just, hold on?
Pop in, yeah. Get into it. You know it's good because it's twist off.
Yeah. Pinot Grigio.
Love a Grige.
Della Venezia.
2 shots of vodka. Gluck, 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 gluck.
Okay.
Let's start with our predictions.
Perfect. I predicted Max P1, George P2.
Wow.
Really close.
No, you got it right.
No, I thought Lando was P2.
Not after the disqualifications.
Okay, well, I mean, like, final.
I'm offering this to you.
No, but I feel like we have to talk about the disqualifications, but like we should look at like where people actually finished for the predictions.
Yes. Okay, so you did get it right in that George on paper was P2.
But George didn't technically finish P2.
But he did end up P2.
Right. I guess Charles Leclerc P3, which was not actually far off how things shook out.
Nope.
And then Phil King Lewis Hamilton, which I was right. Like, I just feel so bad that Beyonce of all people had to be there and see that.
And she looked so
She looked amazing. Jay-Z was also there, I guess. Whatever.
Who gives a fuck about Jay-Z?
Correct.
She looked so... And you know what? I think people are smoking crack, perhaps, because in our TikTok comments, people are like...
I was kind of pissed about that.
They're like, she looked awful. Or like they called her boobs like too big. First of all, that's a mom of 3.
She is feeding her children.
Well, not anymore. But
Not
she
anymore.
looks fucking incredible. So he said bad BBL. That's not a BBL.
That's not a BBL. That is all natural.
That is all natural. And you know how you can tell? Because she has thick thighs. BBLs don't have thick thighs. And thick thighs save lives.
They kept calling her outfit a costume. And I was like, it's not a costume. She's theme dressing. That's a very normal thing.
I hate people.
Unfortunately, this was a major L for the people in our comments.
Yeah.
Do better.
Do better.
You predicted Max P1.
Woo!
Charles P2.
No.
And Carlos P3.
I was so fucking close.
Here's the thing. I was watching this race at my friend's place, and we both were like, where the fuck is Las Vegas GP merchant Carlos Sainz when we need him?
He has never qualified outside the top 3 at this track.
Yeah, but like, he just kind of sat there. He didn't really do much.
Well, he was in a Williams.
I was expecting a little bit more, if I'm being totally honest.
Well, I mean, is it his fault he was shown up by a teenager who finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
No, but like, no one could do that.
New favorite stat of the season.
Kimi is like racking up 6 stats. I have to be honest.
He really is.
I have to be honest.
He really went P17 to P3, 4, and 5. Incredible.
I saw some people talking about how that was very Max Verstappen Brazil of him.
100%. Maybe performatively reading at Senna's grave really did something.
Listen, he probably was actually reading a little bit.
He did graduate high school.
He did. He's one of the only ones.
Let's talk about qualifying.
Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark. I said, why is it raining in Vegas? And you said biblical punishment for us racing there. And I said Noah's Ark.
I think I was right.
I think we were both correct. I don't know if everybody knows this for our international viewers, but Vegas is in a desert wasteland where no human species should survive.
The fun thing about Vegas is that when you leave the strip, which is like half a mile and like a very, very tiny part of town, when you leave the Vegas Strip, it's just all suburb. And if you go far enough, there's just like the end of suburb and
then it's
desert. It's just desert.
Desert.
It's a city that shouldn't exist.
Suburbia stops.
Yeah, it doesn't fade out. There's a stop.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Truly a testament to man's hubris that Vegas exists.
Again, biblical punishment. And somehow we made it through.
So this race, that opening lap, I've had a lot of favorite moments this season.
And a lot of them have been Lando bottling. Like crazy, right?
I think universally they have been Lando bottling. This is my most favorite of them all.
Let me set the scene.
Okay,
I was over at my friend Emma's place, and we were watching the race live. And I'm sitting there with my glass of orange wine because I'm classy, right?
Love.
And my Trader Joe's baked goods snacks because it is 10 p.m.
Yes.
On a Saturday night. I have already eaten dinner.
Yes. It is bedtime.
Basically. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Emma, I'm nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she goes, me too.
Let me set the scene for you. Bowl of ice cream.
Right.
TV on. I'm like, if Max doesn't get into turn 1, I'm turning this off and I'm going to bed.
Right. And he did.
And he did. And I almost lost hope because I thought Lando might have taken them both out with his fuckery.
That was crazy. It literally looked like they should have hit each other.
And then he just bottled so hard.
Well, and I was watching with Emma, and Emma was like, what just happened? And I was like, he thought he got, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He did the classic thing, which is like turn 1 over aggression because, you know, that's not the wrong thing to do.
Right.
It becomes the wrong thing to do when you go really aggressive in turn 1 and then forget your fucking braking marker. That's what happened.
Yeah.
He just went too hard in and then couldn't brake right and then ended up going really wide in turn 1. And Max said, thank you very much. And took P1.
Next. And not only that, he didn't just fall down to P2. He fell down to P3.
Yeah. He did do that. He did do that.
What really pissed me off the most is skipping ahead to the end of the race. He said, yeah, I thought I'd let Max have a win. Ha ha, just kidding. I fucked it.
No, I thought that was like Lando Norris saying something inflammatory and stupid after a race, fork found in kitchen.
You did fuck it. Like, it's not something to joke about. The championship is on the line and you bottled it again. Why are you making jokes about like, haha, I messed up? Like, you should be properly ashamed of yourself.
Where's his fine for swearing?
Amen.
That's what I want to know. I thought it was really interesting too that it was like a shit race for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Kind of including Max too. They had a really bad pit when he came in.
I mean, it wasn't the worst pit in the world. It was 3 seconds, but it still wasn't.
It was bad for them.
He got very lucky, I think, to still end up back out in P1.
This is my thing with Max. I think I saw someone on Twitter complaining about this where they were like, why is the FIA, like, whenever they enforce a rule, like, why does it always benefit Max? Like, it seems like it's always unfairly benefiting him. And I'm like, it isn't.
No.
Max just puts himself in the position to benefit if things happen all the time.
That's kind of like with the disqualification thing where they're like, oh, the FIA is throwing it to Max. No, I'm going to say right now, they are so furious that they have to follow the rules because the fuck-ass F1 and FIA want Lando to be champion. They have been dreaming of it since last year. They have been salivating for it. Even this weekend, they were still parroting that, oh, Brazil, it was all to play for, and Lando could have gotten it done, but he didn't. Like, they were still saying that this weekend, even though we know that's not true.
I know. It's ridiculous.
So miss me with that bullshit that they're trying to do this to throw it in Max's direction when
Max is the last person they would do anything for.
Exactly.
Last person.
The entire season, they have been doing everything in their power to benefit Lando.
Well, I was talking to someone about this. So they got away with those jump starts last year.
Yep.
McLaren multiple times. The Brazil restart, unbelievable that Lando got away with that last year. I just like, it's really annoying. Really annoying.
There's multiple times this year too. I can't count them all.
Who else also had kind of a bad race? Alex
Albon.
Alex Albon had what I imagine must have been a very peaceful start to a GP.
No radio.
No
His
radio.
Dream come true. His
exactly what he wanted.
Dream come true.
Right.
I saw somebody say that he's just going to lean out the side of his car with a roll-up banner that says, "You fucking assholes, this happens every single weekend. You always let me down." And he kind of did that because he was yelling and pointing at his front nose.
And they had to pit him twice to fix a broken wing.
He pitted 4 times before retiring.
Oh, God, it was so bad.
4 times.
Once again, Beyonce, I'm sorry you had to see that.
4 times. It was so Checo Japan 2023 coded. But worse somehow.
But worse because he didn't deserve it.
Exactly. Oh, my God. Oh, you know who else was there this weekend? Shaggy.
Who?
Shaggy.
The artist?
It wasn't me.
It was him.
It was him. Shaggy from our last episode.
That's fucking crazy.
All right. So, okay. Wow.
We have to talk about the big stories now. I'm ready.
Okay. You go ahead, by all means.
We got to talk about the planks.
Wow. Shout out to Wood.
Yeah. Shout out to Wood. First of all, quick backstory. Not really backstory. I guess explanation. The fact that this, in all of the advance of technology and like the crazy shit F1 brings to car manufacturing, the fact that there is legitimately a plank of wood on the bottom of these cars that they use to determine whether or not they are legally running
suspensions high enough.
They do that via a plank of wood and the screws in the plank of wood.
That has not been changed since 1950, and I think that's beautiful.
If it ain't broke.
If it ain't broke. If it ain't broke. And you know what? There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Your car was too low.
I was talking about this with my dad and his partner tonight, and she was like, well, why? And I was like, well, because that's what the rules say. And she goes, well, why? And I was like, well, that's why.
Because running lower to the ground brings more downforce.
No, and I explained this to her. She was like, well, why do they do that? And I was like, they're trying to equalize the field as much as possible.
Yeah.
Anyways, the whole thing about the planks and the penalty, okay, I find very interesting that it's a slam dunk. It's always been a slam dunk. It's just the way the rule is written. There is incredibly little wiggle room on this penalty compared to like every other penalty that F1 enforces, where there actually is some wiggle room. There is room for you to kind of like
argue
and make your case. And I have said this before. I think every team should try and make their case all the time, every time. And I stand by that, even for this.
Yeah, but it's like either your plank was scraped or it wasn't. And the thing is that it's so indiscriminate in how cruel it is.
That's what I love about it. Okay, so race finishes.
You
go to sleep.
Well, first of all, I watch Max and George serve absolute cunt via
the pink Lego Cadillac.
Cadillac and sunglasses. And then Terry Crews from one of my favorite films of all time, White Chicks, starts singing Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles.
And Max was singing.
And
Very
Max
cute.
joins in. Also, Max was having the time of his life that this was race win number 69.
Also, the little like toy track that they gave them, Max very much was playing with that for a while.
Max can bitch and moan about Vegas all he wants.
He loves it there.
Here's
the thing. Max loves a bit. He loves a bit. He loves a joke. He loves to be a little like tongue-in-cheek, like ha ha ha, kiki.
Yeah.
Loves that shit.
And you know who also loves that shit?
GP, my goat. My bald king.
My goat going, they said for Lando to come and get you.
Okay, why do you sound like Varys from Game of Thrones? I don't even think he responded. He just started putting in fastest lap after fastest lap.
You know that...
You know he was giggling.
They were having a giddy little tee-hee-hee about it. Yeah. I love when GP gets messy. I love the way they love each
other. I think it's so funny.
The way they communicate is so beautiful. Because it's so two mean gays.
Well, and people were like, oh my God, GP, love him. He's rage baiting Max. And it's like, he's not rage baiting Max.
No.
They're having a little kiki. Yeah. They are giggling.
They're gossiping.
Max may not have responded on the radio, but GP knows exactly what happened in that helmet.
He said, tee.
He said, okay. Okay, so Max is heading for a win. Lando suddenly, kind of out of nowhere, is told, hey, you need to lift and coast, bud.
Well, first, I want to start with this. He is already like 16 seconds down. And they say, you got to do more. You got to push.
Which, I think the gap was like 4. And they were like, yeah, like this is your race. Like you got to go. Like do
it
more.
was like 16 seconds when they said that, which is why it was so asinine.
They said this like multiple times.
Which also asinine that you have to tell your championship leader to do more.
It was crazy.
We don't even have time to unpack that.
The fact that his engineer just said do more. I looked over at my friend and I was like, there's no fucking way he just said that.
And also on the commentary, they were like, wow, yeah, sometimes it do be like that. Like, literally, that was like DC's summary. He's like, with all the technological advancements in F1, sometimes it does just come down to you gotta push harder.
Which is such an indictment of a championship leader, but whatever.
Wow. So anyways, he's told go get Max. And then all of a sudden, not only does Max start putting in fastest laps for Shiggles, he starts dropping
losing hella time.
And also George Russell was having like fucked up steering issues. So he was
George
losing
was having
hella
steering
time.
issues the whole weekend. The fact that he ended up on the podium is a
miracle.
Good for him. Lando's losing a shit ton of time. Suddenly is told, hey man, can you lift and coast the whole way home? Which is a bonkers thing to say. When I hear a team say you need to lift and coast, that's a team fucking problem. And the driver just has to fucking deal with it. And it's a huge problem. Because it doesn't mean you can do, like, you're fucked when you have to lift and coast the whole way home. That's a huge problem.
Yes.
You're a sitting duck, which is why, like, if George didn't have the issues that he did, Lando wouldn't have even finished P3. Like, fully wouldn't have.
Did you hear that Ted overheard Andrea Stella and Zach Brown in a shouting match?
I didn't hear that. He's told to lift and coast. They finish the race. By like fucking grace of God, George is also having issues. They finish.
Kimi finishes
podium.
4th, has a 5-second penalty, so he's 5th.
Right.
Because God forbid a teenager get a little excited and do a little jump start.
God forbid.
God forbid.
the radio they were talking about for his jump start, he goes, "What? How?"
Yeah, it's just like I was about to say. He goes, "What? How?" It's like,
You,
buddy,
babe.
buddy.
Lando's vibes were rancid the whole post-race. It was gross.
Disgusting. He is the sorest loser I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's fucking saying something because I've seen Donald Trump.
Right. Correct. By the way, Kash Patel is a McLaren fan and was in the garage.
And so is Christy Noam. She shot that dog in Oscar.
Oh, the dog that Oscar doesn't have right now. Got it. Following. I'm with you. And then very quickly after the podium, there's basically like you start to see rumblings from journalists on Twitter.
There's chatter.
Right. It's also very late. This is like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And the race ended around 12:30. You start to see chatter from journalists who are saying all of the garages at McLaren are closed. FIA and steward representatives in the McLaren garage. They're like around the corner, like mirror angled photos of Andrea Stella like laughing with someone in the garage. So everyone's like, he's laughing. It's fine. Wrong. Incorrect. Then we find out that I think there hadn't really been like a notification of an investigation yet, but we find out through journalists that the FIA and the stewards are investigating both McLaren cars for illegal plank wear. So the planks have like worn down too much because they're running too low. They later find out they have tested every single car who's finished in the top 10. The McLarens are the only one with plank wear that bad. So to me, that tells me that McLaren was like, it's not our fault. And the FIA said, bet. We'll check.
Nobody else. The thing is, they called the Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc plank wear penalty within the hour after ending.
So there was a lot of discussion about this because the time frame, and a lot of journalists were like, this is slam dunk. We should get a ruling on this penalty in ASAP. 5 minutes.
ASAP.
Like, I think someone straight up said 5 minutes. Zoe, I stayed awake the whole time.
It was, what, 2.5 hours?
It was like 3 hours. We did not find out until about 3:34 in the morning Central Time. And you know why we didn't find out for that long?
Because Zach Brown and Andrea Stella went in and tried to argue against the most slam dunk case of all time.
And like I said, I truly believe that you should always argue. I do believe, caveat, that you shouldn't maybe spend 3 hours on it.
Also, I want this to be evidence A, front and center, evidence number one, that the FIA is not throwing this in Max's direction because no other team would be entertained for 3 hours defending a plank wear
I completely
issue.
agree. I completely agree.
There is one reason why it went on that long, and that's because it was McLaren and Lando Norris.
Also, someone else brought up a really interesting point as to why wasn't Oscar Piastri told to lift and coast, because he wasn't.
Interesting. But also, I do think it is very bold of McLaren to refute any favoritism allegations by fucking over both their drivers.
Listen, that's what Papaya Rules is all about.
Wow.
So in the official document on the final penalty, the team argued that, quote, mitigating circumstances existed in that there was additional and unexpected porpoising at the event, limited opportunity to test due to weather on day one, and shortened practice sessions. They also submitted that the degree of the breach, so the amount of the plank that had worn away, was less than prior breaches of this regulation in 2025. So they basically argued, we didn't have enough time, weather was really bad, other stuff happened, and also
it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't worn that bad.
Like, yeah, we did break the rules, but not as much as the other people.
So we should get away with it. Again, you should make that argument. Not 3 fucking hours worth of it.
And you know what? I will say this. It has never been the championship leader and the person in second place being investigated. And I do think it is important to investigate it that thoroughly. That still shouldn't take more than an hour and a half.
I also think, so the running theory is just that McLaren got their math wrong on setting up their, like height of the car. I think that's really embarrassing.
It is.
It's really embarrassing.
Especially this close to the end of the season when you have to be perfect.
Exactly. And you're a 2-time Constructors' Championship winner. Like 2 times in a row. Wow. That's really embarrassing.
That's really embarrassing. Unless they did it
intentionally, which...
Intentionally.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just saying that having high downforce at this circuit is very important.
Just saying. Just saying. So this did elevate George up to P2 and Kimi, instead of being P4 or P5, ended P3. Good for him.
Wow. Special
Crazy.
little boy.
Crazy.
That titanium dioxide go crazy.
It really do. This also means that Max and Oscar are equal in the title fight right now at 366.
24 points
Behind Lando Norris.
With 2 races and a sprint to go.
Yeah.
It's over.
And Max has a new engine.
It's over.
Or is it PU?
Doesn't matter. It's over.
Lando has an old one.
It's over.
Lando has a very old one.
And to replace it would be a drop penalty.
Exactly.
It's over.
It isn't, but I think it's like, what's so funny about this whole season, and that we've said multiple times, is that this season is about Max. Like, it's just about Max. I was talking to my dad tonight, and he goes, I never liked Max, but when I heard about the disqualifications and how the title fight is right now, I really want this for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, me too, man.
So does everybody here.
Like I said, like, he and I were talking about it, and I was like, if McLaren had actually given us a title fight legitimately, I'm not comparing these two to Lewis and Nico, but like if they had invested in a title fight legitimately,
yeah,
people wouldn't be looking for where Max is.
If Lando was not spoon-fed every opportunity, I don't think people would be as thrilled about this.
I agree. I completely agree.
Wow.
So anyways, Beyonce, once again, sorry you had to see all that.
But also, maybe she blessed us.
She probably did.
Wow.
Dude, do we have to do guitar positions?
Oh, fuck.
Because it's a triple header. You realize that, right?
Oh, my God. No, I did not realize that.
I found that out last night.
We're almost there. Okay, I'll go
So
first.
close. Okay.
Max P1.
Sure.
Lando P2.
Okay.
George Russell P3. Fail King Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
I was communing with the universe.
Yeah, I could see what's happening. I'm going to go with a Max P1, Oscar P2,
He does love this track.
George P3.
Okay. Fail King.
Phil King, Nico Hulkenberg.
Okay. Some quick hits that we didn't discuss. Another legendary generational beef battle between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso that we didn't see.
Yeah, like,
Sorry, it wasn't Ted that overheard the shouting match between Andrea Stoll and Zach Brown. It was David Croft.
crafty. I don't doubt there was some fight going on.
Wow. What a weekend.
The epic highs and lows of F1 Vegas.
Truly, every year. It is exhausting, but it is so far very rewarding.
It's kind of what we deserve at the end of the season. Like,
I think
just
so.
truly buck fucking wild in the middle of the desert.
Apt. So that brings us to the grid as ... which for the uninitiated is a moment in our podcast where we categorize a handful of riders and drivers from across the great wide world of motorsport as a person, place, thing, concept, and idea. And in honor of American Thanksgiving, which is this Thursday, I thought we could do the grid as Thanksgiving dishes. Would you like to go first?
I would. And in honor of Marc the Magnificent, I will be doing just the aliens.
Whoa, okay.
Because I think it's fun, you know.
All right, go off.
Retrospective. Okay, so for the titular boat character, Marc is cranberry relish in that he comes in a can and is a homemade relish. He's adaptable. He's beloved in a lot of forms. Very controversial to some.
Divisive figure.
Exactly.
But loved by me and you.
Loved by many.
And red.
And red. Total Rojo. I love that you got me on that one. Thank you.
I'm right there with you.
Danny Pedrosa, green bean casserole.
Yes.
With the crunchy onions.
Yep. Delicious.
It has to come with the crunchy onions.
Delicious.
Healthy, delicious, foundational piece of a Thanksgiving dish.
I'm going to put healthy in heavy quotation marks.
Vegetable. That's what I've got.
Sure.
I think the green bean, crunchy onion,
I love it.
spoonful is one of the healthier options at Thanksgiving. It is a uniquely unhealthy holiday.
Beautiful.
Foundational piece of a Thanksgiving, like, plate. Load bearing, if you will. Jorge Lorenzo is, listen, this is going to be a tough one. Mashed potatoes. Bear with me.
Disagree.
Mysterious. Everyone's got a different mashed potato recipe. Every family does it their own way, and it's their own little thing. And it has come to fruition based on years of this family fine-tuning this. He is a methodical, very specific racer. Mashed potatoes. Again, load bearing.
Fine.
Just these are my thoughts. Casey Stoner, turkey. Stressful. Key aspect.
Only comes out once a year.
Truly, like
Nobody's touched it before then.
there and gone. Really, really important. I really think a turkey needs to be done the classic way.
I agree.
No heavy technology.
Nope.
Casey Stoner.
Yep.
Valentino Rossi, pie.
Got to be more specific.
All pie.
Gotta
Just
be
dessert. I'm telling you, any pie that you want, that's Valentino Rossi.
I could not disagree more. There's no way in hell that man is an apple pie.
I mean, no, he's the concept of perfect pie at the end of Thanksgiving meal.
I couldn't disagree more, but okay.
He's the little sweet thing at the end while also being a zing. Like, what if it's key lime? You don't know.
Who would have key lime at their Thanksgiving?
My family.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Pie.
Okay. Well, my turn. Doriane Pin, apple pie.
Yeah.
Perfect. No notes. Perfect in every single way. Little scoop of ice cream.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
And like a fun little dough motif.
Beautiful.
My mom, when I was a kid, made this like insane apple pie where like the cover of the pie, instead of doing a classic lattice, she cut out and like by hand designed like little leaves and layered them over the whole pie.
Beautiful. The one dish I can make reliably, back of my hand, well, apple pie from scratch.
Love that. That's such a flex.
I know. This year, I'm leveling up my game. I've got pie weights to blind bake the crust.
Of course.
Before I was just using coffee beans. And crust collars to protect. So when you blind bake a crust, that's when you bake the bottom of the crust first.
I've seen the Great British Bake Off. I know what blind bake is.
Okay. Well, when you're full baking and you have the pre-baked crust, it will burn. So you get the pie collars to protect it.
I love it. I'm excited to see it.
Max Verstappen, bread roll.
Bread roll?
The GOAT.
I'm going to have to disagree. I think Max is gravy.
I'm correcting myself. Max is gravy. Max is gravy. Max is gravy.
Yeah, Max makes everything better.
Max is gravy. Correct.
I'm glad we can work together on this one.
Wow. Max is gravy. Wow. How could I be so short-sighted? He is gravy.
We got there. We got there.
We got there. Lewis Hamilton, cornbread stuffing.
I would say yes, except for that one time that he said grits were prison food. So, like, I'm sorry. I don't think he gets to claim, even in this podcast, Southern-inspired cooking.
On Beyonce's internet, he said that.
On Beyonce's internet.
He said collard greens and grits, which, to be fair, should not be served together.
No, absolutely not.
That was the randomest fucking thing in the world.
The twain should not meet.
No.
Unfortunately, he's still British.
We must remember that.
We cannot forget that.
And also criminally vegan.
And like dog vegan, which is worse, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Anyways, sorry for the side note takedown of Lewis Hamilton.
So finally, I think Fernando Alonso is the day after turkey sandwich with mashed potatoes and gravy.
100%. Can I make one addition?
Yeah.
George Russell is the crispest.
Oh, I know what you're about to say. Yeah.
Ant.
Yep.
Chardonnay.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
And that's my addition.
And can I say this too? He's a Kadjar, a little Riesling.
Yeah, I see that.
A little dessert wine.
I see that. Like a port even. Or sherry.
Just a fun little...
A little something.
A little something to keep you going.
A little something. See
wow. It. Okay.
I love that with all of our picks, we basically built out a full Thanksgiving meal.
Beautiful. Wow. Who is stuffing?
Can the stuffing be the Red Bull driver's pool?
Yeah.
Like, maybe good, might be bad, still necessary.
Yeah.
Full plate.
Full plate.
What is it? Clear eyes, full plate, can't lose.
Can't lose.
And that's how I will be going into Thanksgiving this year.
That brings us to the end of our podcast. Make sure to like, share, rate, review, engage with, comment on any and all of the above on our podcast to help us grow. We really appreciate it. And then come hang out with us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. And happy Thanksgiving. And let's keep chatting soon.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Zoe's dad.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.